This is a Dubai Eye 103.8 podcast. This is Afternoons with Helen Farmer.
Join the conversation
On Dubai Eye 103.8.
Hi, it's Helen with you from Afternoons with Helen Farmer. Great to have you with us on the podcast today. Money matters. Zurich Middle East was on hand as we talked about the importance of being sustainable with our investments and what they're doing in terms of their company ethos. From saving big on the paper used in the office to some really big ideas with their sponsorship programs around the UAE. And we were in conversation with the Emirates Environmental Group about where they had their start. It was surprisingly 30 years ago when they first started identifying problems in the region. So how can you get involved in some of their upcoming events? From beach cleanups to more. We spoke to the woman in charge.
Money matters.
on Afternoons with Helen Farmer.
With Zurich Life Insurance, take optimistic action and shape your financial future with Zurich Life Insurance.
Dubai Eye 103.8.
Fantastic to have you with us on this Monday afternoon. Now, recently I hosted a panel and we talked about climate anxiety. One of the things that everyone around that table agreed is that a good way of controlling this anxiety and our concerns is to take action in any way that you can. COP26 concluded in recent weeks, and we're now looking ahead to COP28 right here in the UAE in a number of years. And one of the things you can do to make your voice heard is through the way you spend and invest your money. There is such a thing as green investing. To put it simply, it's putting our money into areas that kind of limit environmental harm, support sustainable practices as well. So if you're supporting companies that have a sustainable focus, are really kind of putting their money where their mouth is, let us know about them on 4001 or via the ARN Play app. We're speaking now to the CEO of Zurich Middle East, who knows this trend, this movement all too well. Reena Vivek is with us live on the line. Reena, thank you so much for being with us. You know the industry inside out. Are you finding that clients, whether that is individuals or companies, are more inclined to support businesses that do some good for the planet, that perhaps are more aligned with their values?
Thank you, Helen, for having me, and it's such a pleasure to be at this panel. You are right. There is definitely more awareness amongst clients about sustainability, climate control, environment, and some of the recent events here in Dubai kind of rise on the same topic. So there's definitely more awareness and visibility to it. Specifically in the insurance space, while there is awareness, we are not seeing particular client demand around propositions that are linked to environment, social governance type initiatives. But what we are seeing is clients are focusing on organizations that actually have that as part of their organizational ethos, vision, and goals. So we are expecting over time that companies will be chosen by clients, keeping in mind not just the propositions that are on offer, but also what the company is actually doing as part of its overall corporate responsibilities. And at Zurich, it's one of the key things for us. We're pretty much front and center in terms of our position on climate change. We do a lot of work around flood resilience. The activities that we're doing are more in the preventative space and therefore in the sustainable environment space. What we want to do is encourage our clients to think more about the future generation and how we and they can play a role in that.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned that future generation because, recent studies, data showing that the millennials, the Gen Zers, when it comes to choosing the company they want to work for, it's not necessarily just about prestige or job title or even salary. It's wanting to make sure that, you're working for a company that has a really good ethos, something that you can almost have a bit of a clear conscience about in some ways, which sounds like a bit of a luxury to older generations, but it seems to be that, that flexibility and that good values being front and centre. And it's interesting that sustainability is now coming into play in this as well. So can you tell us a little bit, you mentioned the kind of, flood assessment and risk there. Can you talk to about some of the things you're doing at Zurich that we might not be aware of?
Absolutely. And I'll touch briefly upon what's happening globally, but I really would like to talk about what we're doing on the ground as well. So globally, obviously, it is part of our target to achieve certain specific goals and metrics when it comes to sustainability. So reduce paper consumption. We've taken a challenge on to reduce our travel emission by 70%, switch our entire fleet into electric and hybrid cars, focus more on digitization and therefore, help in the overall sustenance of the planet in totality. But moving closer to home, I think I'm particularly proud of some of the changes we've achieved here on the ground as well. in the last 3 years, we've reduced our paper consumption by 96%
What?
in the UAE. Yeah. And it's been a concentrated effort. So it's not something that we've started overnight. And I think what I particularly would like to emphasize is sustainability is a habit, right? It's not something that you achieve overnight. It's not a buzzword as well. You have to find a way to build it into your day-to-day business practices. And we are in the field of insurance and savings. And savings in particular resonates very well with our clients as well. There's a strong link between sustainable behavior and financial saving, and a lot of people probably don't recognize it as such. For us, what we find is when an individual is practicing sustainability and doing activities that drive towards sustainability, obviously it has a positive income on their savings ability. So that makes a big difference, and that's a message we want to get across to all our consumers and clients and make sure they understand the connection between the two, because it ticks two boxes at the same time. It makes our future a lot more sustainable, but it also helps them in planning their financial future.
Money Matters
On afternoons with Helen Farmer.
with Zurich Life Insurance. Take optimistic action and shape your financial future with Zurich Life Insurance.
Dubai Eye 103.8.
It is Helen Farmer with you. We are live from Yusk this afternoon, and we are talking money matters, sustainable, actually, with a real angle there, as so many of us are thinking about the planet front and centre, in conversation with the CEO of Zurich Middle East, Reena Vivek, who has just been explaining the great strides the company's been making close to home and with big company ideas as well. Do you have any sustainability targets, Reena? Are there anything kind of, I was going to say on paper, is there any PowerPoints that have been distributed where you're really putting those goals in place?
Absolutely, and I think I briefly touched upon this. So one of our key things here is, because we're a large multinational, we tend to travel a lot in terms of having meetings, and one of the conscious decisions we've taken is to have a 70% reduction in our air travel emission, which means a substantial reduction in people flying across the globe, leverage technology more, which is a great learning we've had from COVID and the lockdowns anyway. So that's been a big part of the change that we want to make. From a social and governance perspective, in the UAE specifically, we are very, very excited about our partnership with the Emirates Environmental Group, who have been a leading voice in this region when it comes to sustainability. And we're working very closely with Ms. Habiba on the topics of spreading the message about sustainability, being partners with them on the activities that they do. Actually, just next week, there is going to be the UAE Cleanup Week, and we are the main sponsors for the event in partnership with Emirates Environment Group, and we want to make sure all of our employees participate, but we also bring in wider individuals from the community. There's Dubai Sevens that's coming, that's just around the corner.
This weekend, I know.
Yes, and we're the official partners for the first ever Cricket Sevens that's happening. We've built what is called a Sustainable Kids Zone, and I think you touched upon this earlier. The young people are actually leading the way to some extent, I would say.
Absolutely agree. I mean, my children are young, but I'm the one that gets lectured in the house about, leaving the tap running when I'm brushing my teeth, or, questioning what I'm putting in the bin. And this is because it's interwoven into the curriculum now, which certainly wasn't the case when I was at school. And, this is something that the children, definitely teens, are taking incredibly seriously. So what's going to be at that zone, Reena?
So at the Kids Sustainability Zone, basically what we're talking about is recycling plastic. We would expect events of this nature to tend to generate a lot of waste, right? So the idea is to use the kids to spread the message around recycling, reducing usage of plastic. What we intend to do is, for every kilo of plastic that we recycle, we will also plant a tree as part of the Emirates Replant campaign on the 21st of December. We've got a target of 200 trees, but if there's going to be more waste, then it's going to be more trees, which hopefully has an overall positive impact. The good news for us is we have a Global Zurich Foundation, so everything that we do on the ground is actually, there's a multiplier effect, because they then step up and contribute an equal amount, either in money terms or in terms of initiatives that they in turn sponsor. Being part of a large organization comes with those benefits of being able to have a local as well as a global impact at the same time.
It's a huge responsibility, isn't it? But it's really fantastic to see the impact that you're making, spreading awareness with employees in the office place and in the wider community as well. And up next, we are going to be speaking to the woman that you've just mentioned, Mrs. Habiba Al-Marashi, who is on a mission to get companies spending on green goals and believes the returns are priceless. Reena, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure, Helen. Thank you very much.
Money Matters
On afternoons with Helen Farmer.
with Zurich Life Insurance. Take optimistic action and shape your financial future with Zurich Life Insurance.
Dubai Eye 103.8.
Talking sustainability, whether that is to things we can do at home or in the community, and also the responsibility that larger companies such as Zurich Middle East, who we just spoke to, have when it comes to their company ethos and their employees too. Reena Vivek joining us earlier. We're now speaking to Mrs. Habiba Al-Marashi, who's the head of the Emirates Environmental Group. It has been around for years, launching sustainable initiatives, convincing companies that going green is an investment that they can't go wrong with. Thank you so much for being with us. How are you?
Fine, thank you, Helen. How are you?
I'm really well, thank you. And I think it's such a valuable topic that there's actually a lot happening behind the scenes that we might not even be aware of. So thank you for drawing our attention to it. But before we talk about what's going on and how we can get involved, can we go back? Can you tell us about how and when you started?
Thank you very much, really, for setting up this interview. I think it's a very important time as well, because the country is celebrating 50 years and we are celebrating 30 years at Emirates Environmental Group.
That's incredible.
So we were really born when the country was just 20 years old, beautiful young country. And we have grown with the growth of the UAE. And I would like to believe, and I think all our participants believe, that we have played very important role in the direction of the sustainable growth. Every era has got its own uniqueness and its own opportunities as well as its own challenges. So when we started in 1991 with a group of beautiful people from different parts of the world, we were really a reflection of what the society in the UAE was at that time and continues to be. Another thing was that, it was a relatively small country, particularly in Dubai where we started. Almost everybody knew everybody, the expatriate community, the other communities. But one of the challenges that we observed early on is that communities tended to stick to themselves. It was silos living in a country. And we understood that to be able to really make a difference and have a positive impact on environmental issues in the society, we need to engage everybody. So we need to break into those silos and remove those barriers and work together as one community instead of different nationalities just living on a land. And that was one of our main objectives. And we understood that this is a transient society, that there will be people coming today and they won't be there in a couple of years. But nevertheless, as long as they are here, then they are part of that society and they should be involved in everything that we do. So we rolled out very actionable program, very practical programs, doable. We looked at how convenient it will be for the different sectors of the society, and I think these were the main issues that we were focusing on. So it was very easy for people to see the before and the after when they participated with us in the different recycling program. So we will have an action day where people will be bringing their material. And we continue to do that, by the way. So as they bring their material, they realize they are not the only one, that everybody else is bringing it. That inspires them, encourages them.
I think that's a really good point, because sometimes, and I think of my dad in this, my dad, when he lived in Oman, was, I think, the only man recycling, and we all teased him and called him Captain Planet. But I actually think he inspired an awful lot of his neighbours by just showing up and doing what he could. Sometimes it does take these brave souls, whether that is a man like my dad, a woman like you starting the EG, to really get the ball rolling.
Yes, alhamdulillah, and I'm really grateful to the response that we received from the different sectors of the society. For example, the Dubai World Trade Center, there was nothing around it apart from the few blocks of the apartments in that area. We conducted a paper collection campaign there, and Dubai municipality put for us a big orange skip and people were queuing nicely with their bags of paper and cardboard boxes and deposited. We did another one in front of the city center, and there was no city center at that time. The whole place was empty in that area, and I remember in half a day we collected 8 tons of glass. The community was willing and wanting to participate and to show. When we did our can collection campaigns, we would put our locations in different places in Hamriya shopping mall and this shopping mall and that, and we had one of the main ones in front of the Dubai Post office, the main one in Karama.
Mm-hmm.
There was nothing there. The whole place was just empty. All the buildings that you see them, they were not there. So we had our skips there and our chairs and tables and, our flyers to distribute and to raise awareness. It was a beautiful day, picnicking sort of. Everybody was just driving, stopping and coming and asking us questions. And there were many people coming and depositing their aluminum cans. So this response from the community was a very important element to encourage us and for us to go to the level of interest and participation of the community to enable us as well to plan ahead. What do we want to do? How are we going to do it? And what plans and tools that we need to do that? The other important element was the educational platform. Early on we started reaching out to schools and engage them and do workshops with them and do just awareness sessions, different age groups, different nationalities, different curriculums, and the response was good. So those were the early days, but these were all really for us indicators of how we want to process and move ahead. One of the important platforms, really, Helen, that we managed to sustain it until today is the panel discussions or community lectures, we used to call it before. And we started that in 1992, and we have managed to religiously continue until today. So again, I think one of the beautiful things that we have managed to send out a message and to build our reputation on is the continuity and consistency of our programs. We have a newsletter, e-newsletter. This e-newsletter has been going on as well from 1991 when we started.
I bet it looks very different now.
There were no computers, the typewriter that we used to type on, and put it in the envelope and seal it and put the stamps. My children used to help me, put the stamp on the envelopes and go to the Karama post office and mail it to all our participants. Wow. We have come a long way, of course, now, with modern technology at our disposal. Our reach has gone much, much farther, the borders of the country. We have readership from all over the world. We continuously receive communication from different entities, similar organizations in different parts of the world wanting to collaborate and work with us. So we have seen the growth of our country, and we have seen us growing healthily with this progress.
We all want to do good, we all want to do better, but sometimes we're just not really sure how. It takes somebody or it takes an organisation to be like, it's not as difficult as you think. We're going to make this super simple. You come here, you do that, and, you might leave a few bags of cans lighter and, with a bit of a feel good as well. So if anyone's listening, saying, actually, do you know what? I really want to get involved. I really want to do things. We're just speaking to Zurich then about the cleanups that you've got planned. Is there anything in the calendar over the next few weeks that people could actually get involved in, Habiba?
Yes, there's a lot. We have everybody busy at the moment because, really Cleanup UAE will start on the 6th of December and we will go on until 16th of December. And we have it every day in one of the Emirates. So whoever wants to participate and has missed one of the dates can join on the other date. This is a good opportunity for everyone to get to know the country up and down, every part of the country, the different beautiful natural environments that we have, the natural beauty that we have. And this is a beautiful time of the year. The weather is good. We ourselves enjoy doing it because every year we get to see all parts of our country in this process, and thousands of people participate with us. We are just concluding tomorrow a beautiful program that is called One Root, One Community Tree, and this was open to all sectors of the society to bring us recyclable material, and in return, if they achieve the target, they get the opportunity to plant a native tree, which inshallah this year will take place on 24th 21/12/21. So it's a beautiful historic day that we have chosen.
Wow.
And there are thousands of people that we are expecting to participate. So with entities, like Zurich, a global entity looking on the ground and being really part of the society is very, very important. They set themselves aside and apart. They really help build the loyalty amongst their own staff as well as the wider community. Today, everybody appreciates an organization that has got strong governance structure in place, that has got strong affinity to the sustainable development goals, that has a proper strategy, governance structure, whether we are talking about the well-being of the society or the well-being of the environment, of course, the economic prosperity. They position themselves as pioneers in this field. And I think that is very important with the multinationals. I always say it is not enough what the headquarters is doing. It is very important that every operation in every region look at what is happening on the ground in that particular country or that particular region and really come full force in to support the local efforts that are going on.
For anyone who wants to check out more about what you're doing, things are in the calendar, sign up to the newsletter, of course. What's the best way of getting in touch?
Our email is very easy. It is eeg@emirates.net.ae. And if they want to go and visit our website, it is www.eeg-uae.org. I would like to mention here, there are a lot of people who do not know how to be involved. Supporting NGOs is one of the best ways of really moving forward because we do not have the financial resources required to employ a full-time person who handles our website or does this or does that. So we really bank on the goodwill of the entities that are specialized in these fields, and this is a good way of them really translating in action their corporate responsibility and that they are involved, because by them supporting us, we are able then to deliver better and to improve on our work and to expand our reach to the different sectors of the society and to all corners of our country.
So if anyone's listening today and they want their company to step up, get involved, you can get in touch. Mrs. Habiba Marashi, they're speaking there as the head of the Emirates Environment Group. Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. Happy UAE National Day, of course, and looking forward to those cleanups. There's information on your Instagram and on the website as well. Thank you, Habiba.
Thank you very much, Helen, again for giving us the opportunity. And I hope really your listeners, your followers, will take that small step today and touch the button and get involved with us in our different campaigns.
This is Afternoons with Helen Farmer
Join the conversation
on Dubai Eye 103.8.
You can tune in to Afternoons with me, Helen Farmer, live on Dubai Eye 103.8, Sunday to Thursday between 2 and 5. Don't forget to rate and subscribe to this podcast. It helps other people find us, boost us in the ratings, and you'll get it direct to your phone.
You've been listening to a Dubai Eye 103.8 podcast. To enjoy lots more from Dubai Eye in the United Arab Emirates, just go to DubaiEye1038.com or find them wherever you normally get your podcasts.